Hello, this is Brian Blair and Jason Russell, and we're going to cover some updates to Chapter 216 of the FDM, as well as some corresponding spec changes in sections 120 and 125. So we clarified earthwork control lines that come into play for two cases that we're building into the FDM. The original ground line is defined as the contour of existing natural topography, and the finished grading template is defined as the contour of the finished side slopes, unpaved shoulders, and the bottom of the roadway base and shoulder base for flexible or rigid pavement. And we define those control lines for two cases. Basically, case one is where we're building roads over natural topography, and that's kind of how section 216 was written before. We're going to add a second case where we're actually building roadways over existing roadways. So the second thing we did is clarify the earthwork calculations. So for case one, which is where we're building roads over natural topography, excavation is defined as the material excavated below the original ground line and above the finished grading template in a cut section. And section 120 of the standard specifications governs regular excavation. And for embankment, that's defined as material placed above the original ground line and below the finished grading template in a fill section, also defined in section 120. For case two, we're building new roads over existing road beds. So we wanted to define the removal of existing pavement and ensure that that's not being included in regular excavation. That's covered under clearing and grubbing. So that includes the removal of existing flexible pavement, including the asphalt and base and concrete pavement, and is defined in section 110. And the limits of the clearing and grubbing match the finished grading template of the existing road bed. So excavation starts from that point below, defined as the material excavated below the finished grading template of the existing road bed and the finished grading template of the new pavement in a cut section. Again, that's defined in section 120 of the standard specifications. And for embankment, that's material placed above the finished grading template of the existing road bed and below the finished grading template of the new pavement in a fill section. Also defined in section 120. So we also clarified and added a case for where we're building roads over an existing road bed. It's the case two. We added that in the sketch and added the definitions there for cut and fill. And the hatching shows that the embankment starts at that finished grading template of the existing pavement and extends upward to the finished grading template of the new pavement. And now I'll turn it over to Jason Russell to talk about the corresponding specs changes.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, as Brian said, we're going to go through the changes that were made to 120 and 125. In general, these are the major components that got changed. Here for section 120, we have in the general 121.1, we have defined the original ground line and the finished grading template and the differences between the two. In 122.2.1, the clarified regular excavation, as Brian said previously, it does not include pavement removal, which is paid under clearing and grubbing, section 110. 122.3, we removed finished grading template definition. In 124.2, construction over an existing old road, again, we had to do some changes here. We specified the removal of existing pavement per section 110 when new roads are constructed over existing road beds. Specified subsequent embankment placement shall be per the requirements in section 120. So we simplified that section a little bit. For section 128.2.3, we changed original ground to existing slope. Again, this was a nomenclature change just to make everything consistent. In 120.13.1, we removed the calculation method for method of measurement. In 120.13.2, we clarified regular excavation is the net volume of material excavated between the original ground line or the finished grading template of the existing road bed as applicable and the finished grading template of the new pavement. In 120.13.7, we removed the calculation method for method of measurement. Clarified embankment is the net volume of material placed above the original ground line or the finished grading template of the existing road bed as applicable. For section 125, we had to, again, make sure that we were consistent with our nomenclature. So we changed 125 5.1 and 8.1.3 and changed original ground surface to original ground line. Again, that's just a simple nomenclature change. In section 125.12, we again changed the ground line to finished grade to be more precise with our language. Section 125.13, method of measurement, we removed the calculation method for method of measurement. The end. Thanks, Brian.